Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Saturn Slam review. Totally just gonna pretend like we covered the shows last week and didn't watch the World Series instead.
I mean, the biggest thing I remember it from last week was the fucking meme machine on AEW.
Yeah,
They had fucking the Rick and Morty promotional crossover, which I don't know, man.
and
I don't know,
and
man.
they crowned their first ever tag team champions on that show. So forever in the history of AEW, however long that might go on for, there will be green corner posts uh,
With
in the
Rick and
video
Morty.
package of their history of the tag team championships.
God. And Kenny Omega, of course, came out to, I believe, more Deltarune, more Bundertail. He was
Yes,
Sans,
he was Sans.
Kenny Undertale.
The Bucks were Ken and Ryu, or approximations thereof. And on the NXT show, they announced the War Games matches, which I guess was newsworthy.
Yeah, that was very big. It was Women's War Games first. They announced that one first.
Yes, so that's happening. And, yeah.
I guess Finn Balor did more stuff.
Finn Balor cut
Was
a
he on?
promo about how he's the hottest ting in the business. And, my Irish accent has come a long way since when we first started this show.
It's a cultural exposure.
I guess so. But yeah, he took his mask off, and now he's the hottest ting in the business, and he bad guy. Which leads us into this week. Ratings wise, last week both shows got fucking destroyed by the World Series Game 7, which did 24 million viewers.
Mm-hmm.
AEW did, I believe, 750,000 thereabouts, and NXT did like 560.
Yeah.
This week, however, both shows rebounded, but NXT was up big. It was, I believe, 868 for AEW and 813 for NXT. So they
40. I
closed
think it
that
was
gap real quick.
40% week over week.
Yeah, something like that. And they were nearly, very importantly, they were nearly identical in the key 18 to 49 demographic. AEW did .33 and NXT did .30, which was also up really over almost 100% from last week when they did a .18, I think.
Yeah, and we'll talk about this before we talk about the shows. I think it's got to be the reason that this got so much boost was well, I guess part of it was getting hyped for War Games, but I can't help but think that their invasion of SmackDown,
Oh, it was 100% them being
fucking
on SmackDown and
yeah,
Raw. We'll see if maybe this turns the tide on a more week-to-week basis. I think NXT has rather consistently been the better of the two shows.
mm-hmm.
With the possible exception of a couple weeks here and there. But they haven't been, the ratings haven't reflected that. But I think maybe this exposure, because this, I believe, represents a slightly larger audience than is usually on Wednesday nights, because this would be 1.7 million viewers just about. And usually they're more like 1.4, 1.3 million total between the two shows.
Right.
So
Okay.
perhaps there's more people who don't necessarily watch NXT but watch Raw and SmackDown that have now had motivation to watch NXT and like what they saw and will stick around and will be closer, or this could be like a 1 to 2 week bump based on how long this built to Survivor Series goes on, and we'll see AEW get back up to like 900,000 to NXT's 700,000,
Mm-hmm.
wherever the
And
audiences may fall.
that depends on how well Full Gear does. I
A lot
part
is
of
riding on this Full Gear show, and I hope that it goes well, and I hope that it results in some changes to how they book Dynamite particularly the ending segments. I can give them an excuse
Yes.
because they're building to their first pay-per-view. Well, not their first pay-per-view, but the first pay-per-view with television build, and they need to get all these matches promoted. Hopefully things will settle down. My main complaint with Dynamite, as it is most weeks, is they try to do too much. They're trying to stuff 10 pounds of shit into a 5-pound bag, and
that's where you get blowout.
Yeah.
All over the floor.
I've started switching my watching order and watching NXT Live and Dynamite the following day, and I've been much happier for it.
Yeah, it's really nice. Because, Dynamite. I guess we should talk about Dynamite first, even though we watch NXT first,
Right.
because it's on our mind. The only thing about the SmackDown invasion, the summary was, I don't know whether it was I don't know how much of it was planned and how much of it they were able to lean into due to the circumstances coming out of Crown Jewel.
Yes.
Where they all got fucking
there was
stuck.
A mechanical issue with the plane. I use air quotes. There are those who swear it was just a mechanical issue. There is now rumor that it had something to do with a pay dispute between WWE and the Saudi government. Who knows?
Well, there was that. It was on a 40-minute tape delay because they didn't get paid until halfway through the show.
Yes, I heard that, and I also heard that was a decision from the Saudi government. I don't believe that, but we'll. The Crown Jewel may have been the last Saudi show they do, or if they work future Saudi shows, it's going to be with a skeleton crew because I'm sure a lot of those people aren't going to want to go back.
No. A lot of them said never again.
Yeah.
This is a bad time, and it was a bad time for SmackDown too because they had a fucking show that they needed talent on.
Yeah, so it was pretty much everyone who didn't go to Saudi Arabia. So Sami Zayn and Daniel Bryan and The Miz for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
And a bunch of NXT talents, including Shayna Baszler, Adam Cole, Roderick Strong, Tommaso Ciampa, Keith Lee, and Matt Riddle. And they did a clean sweep of SmackDown talent in the matches that were on the show. And I didn't catch this because I didn't watch Crown Jewel, but apparently during Crown Jewel they announced that Survivor Series would be NXT versus Raw versus SmackDown, which means triple threats, multi-man manias, once again running wild, brother.
Oh yeah, and that means that it's so fucking. They hurt us. They're like Peter and Kurt. They aren't gonna fucking watch any more main roster pay-per-views. We gotta fucking sneak in NXT in here.
Yeah. So the poor bastards are going to have to work another match 24 hours removed from War Games. So my deepest condolences.
Well, this reminds me of the fucking TakeOver Brooklyn before SummerSlam that gave us some of the best matches I've ever seen out of Adam Cole.
Yeah. Or the TakeOver Philadelphia.
No, that was what it was, yeah.
Rumble, where he took that just sickening bump on the chairs and then was in the Royal Rumble the next day for half an hour.
Was that the one was that fucking Andrade Gargano or almost a Gargano?
Yes. Yes.
Yes, because it was that match was that's the best. This is the best match of the night. It's so amazing. And then the main event happened.
Yes, we're there's no way they can top Cole and Black, and then they tap Cole and Black. And we're there's no way this match is ever going to be topped. And then flash forward a year, and Adam Cole and Johnny Gargano top it. But we were talking about Dynamite, believe it or not. That's this.
Right. Oh, yeah. So, okay. That lesson is key. But we're talking about Dynamite. We'll get to the actual NXT in the aftermath after that. Yeah. Yes.
So, AEW Dynamite live from, I believe, Charleston, North Carolina? Or Charlotte, North Carolina?
Charlotte. Yep.
And they were in Flair Country. Everyone was super over, and they opened with Pac versus Trent in a match that experts agree took place.
When I saw Trent, I'm first thought in my head, the fuck is Trent? Second thought, oh, best friends. Third thought, Why?
I guess they just needed another guy. They had Trent hang in here. This was definitely not a squash. Um,
They can't squash anyone.
no, they don't. They need to bring. They need jobbers. Like the closest thing they have to a jobber is what's his face, who wrestled later on the show,
Oh, I was gonna
Brandon
say the
Cutler.
Creepers.
I
Oh,
mean, I
Brandon
guess you
Cutler.
could
Yep.
have the creepers be jobbers too, but
No. Yeah.
yeah. So this match was fine. The baby faces ran interference so they could get the numbers advantage on the heel, which is I I mean I would say it's the reverse wrestling 101, but the reverse of 101 is still in fact 101. So I guess it's bar O the 1 bar wrestling.
I don't know. It's fucking.
It's backwards is
It's
the point I'm
stupid
trying to
shit.
make.
Bonkwards.
This is another one of my second greatest complaint with Dynamite is, or just AEW as in general, is that they do not do faces and heels in a way that makes sense.
hmm Um. Also, so the other thing about this match, and I guess this leads into me my critique of the best friends right now. I guess the tag team's fine. They're fine. They work great. Uh, the fucking Orange Cassidy thing. I don't know. That's really burnt out for me really quick.
Yeah, I just granted they're not like having him wrestle in matches, and I've seen Orange Cassidy matches on the independent circuit, and they are not my thing. And they shouldn't be what AEW hitches their wagon to. It's over with the live crowd, but we're early on, and the live crowd is their most hardcore, passionate audience. And you're not going to build your brand up catering to this small segment of the audience. You need to bring in new fans. And when I watch Orange Cassidy, no offense to Orange Cassidy, I've seen some of his work before the gimmick change. He's a perfectly competent wrestler, but this
Yes.
gimmick is stupid.
Yes. Especially because it's even in the time that I've seen him do it, it's become repetitive. I don't need to see him do the lame ass like the low energy super kicks again.
Or the dive with his hands in his pockets. You know,
Yeah.
like that's his. Those are his two spots. I've seen him either get something new or move out. Like,
Cut a promo. I want to see Orange Cassidy cut a promo. That'll be funny. See, you just you heard about the concept and you laughed.
yeah. Well, I mean, not in
I
the
want to
way they probably
see
want me to.
I want to see the best friends throw Cassidy off of the top rope onto someone.
Yeah, give him like a double superplex onto a big crowd of people. Um.
Yes.
So anyway, this match was fine. Trent's a good wrestler. Pac's a good wrestler. They wrestled a fine match. And what I believe was a botch because I did not see the kick out. I just saw the ref stop counting.
Yes.
Trent kicked out of the Black Arrow. So once again, we don't protect finishes in this company.
No.
When a mid card tag team guy kicks out of your finish, on television, there's problems. So I'm hoping that's a botch. But then Pac wasted no time putting him in the brutalizer, which caused him to submit. He then cut a promo that was barely intelligible. Um,
Uh,
he said some mean things about Hangman Page, and they are wrestling at Full Gear.
did it.
Out came Cody.
Yep. And oh, Cody.
He was, in fact, Cody on this day. He came out. He finally got to his announcement. And his announcement ended up being that if he does not win at Full Gear, which he shouldn't, it is way too soon to take the title off Jericho.
Mm-hmm.
then he will never again challenge for the AEW championship. Peter, how long has AEW been around?
It's been on the air 6 weeks.
Do you think that's
2 months.
maybe a little soon to put a stipulation where one of your top single stars will never again compete for the championship unless you hotshot the title that's only been on someone for 6 weeks?
Yeah. Yep. It's a little soon. This is like it's like one of my Japanese animes where fucking the big powerful guy dies in the first episode. And you're like, all right, well, shit. Way to blow your wad there, boys. This is the goddamn beginning of KOTOR.
Yeah, where they axe Trask in short order.
God damn it! I want to win the game with Trask.
Well, Trask he's reincarnated as Canderous, the Candyman, who automatically wins you the game because he is unkillable if you build him correctly.
Much like Cody's promo, at least with respect to the fucking audience.
Yeah, it was a good promo. He was passionate. He referenced Jericho's book, Alliance Tale, which if you haven't read it, is definitely worth a read. I've read 3 of his 4 books. I haven't read his most recent one yet, but they are all very good.
Yes.
I would, if it's available for $3 on Amazon, hey, you will get much more enjoyment out of the $3 spent on Alliance Tale than you would out of the $3 spent on, sadly, only 2 McChickens at McDonald's now. Those cold bastards.
You disappoint me.
Yeah, so he called Jericho a dick.
Yeah, that was a weird turn. Like he used to have this lofty rhetoric, this inspiring speech, and he's like, "You're a dick. Suck it.
You're just a dick, man.
I'm gonna shit on your face." Now, the heroic tale of my ascension to like found this company and about all the people who came before me,
who booked their promotions into oblivion. By the way, I feel like that's an important detail of the men he referenced. Bill Watts, historically unpopular booker of WCW, and Dusty Rhodes, who bankrupted the Florida territory, which he learned the business, and eventually everywhere he booked went out of business except for NXT. But
well,
if
NXT
you can
is
torpedo NXT, then you have superpowers.
NXT is the Mongolia of sports entertainment. It just defies all expectations.
Yeah. So Cody cut a strong promo, and at the end of it, he said that eventually, when the Inner Circle and the Elite square off, it'll be a match beyond. So, seemingly, at some point, they are going to have a War Games match between the Elite and the Inner Circle.
Yes, or some variety of big team match thing.
Yeah, I mean, well,
they've bought out the rights to the Punjabi prison, and they're doing a whirlwind Punjabi prison match.
Instead of a tornado. Wouldn't it be a monsoon Punjabi prison
match? Yes, it's a monsoon match.
So yeah,
bring back the Punjabi prison, WWE.
Don't bring back
Please.
the Punjabi prison. I remember when they did that match, they brought it back. The Madmen actually did it, and like on Reddit, everyone was like, "Oh, awesome Punjabi prison match." I'm like, "Did y'all motherfuckers watch the first 2 Punjabi prison matches? They were just dreadful." And then they dusted off the fucking marionette corpse of the Great Khali and had him marched out.
Where is fucking Jinder right now? Is he been on air?
He's MIA. I have not seen Jinder Mahal. Maybe he was chasing the 24/7 title at one point, but that's about as low on television as you can get.
If you're a jobber for the 24/7 title, oh man, what a position!
What a fall from grace. Private Party beat the Dark Order. The most notable thing from this match is Evil Uno is now wearing a shirt, and it's a much better look for him.
Yes.
I
Mas bueno.
I was not
Evil
distracted by his grotesque physique this time. And Dark Order continue to be a very good team, saddled with a very bad gimmick.
Yes.
This match ended abruptly when Stu Grayson took the worst gin and juice I've ever seen. Granted, that's only like 6 of them, but of those 6, bottom of the pile. And Private Party won their bronze medals, and now it'll be a triple threat for some reason at the pay-per-view. Why is this match happening? Like, I don't understand why the Lucha Brothers automatically got a rematch after losing in the tournament.
I can fucking give you probably a good reason why. I think it was part of Cody's promo where he's talking about. It was a later promo where he's like, it's about the workers here and about the the right environment, the right pay, and the right compensation, all that jazz. And I was thinking about that, and I'm like, oh yeah, that was the big thing. That was the push for AEW was for the wrestlers, was that they would all get appropriate time. And that's why I think there's so many fucking tag team matches on this every night, like every week, and why like everyone had to come out. I guess spoilers, everyone had to come out at the end, and why there's a 6-man, 3-way tag team match going on here, and they're just everyone's got to be in because everyone's got to have equal time and equal hours.
In fairness to the schmoz at the end of this show, it is the go-home show to their pay-per-view. I would say it's okay. However, they very often, in the build to this pay-per-view, have had the schmoz at the end of the show, which is getting old real quick.
Yes. We'll get to that. We will get to that.
Oh, we'll get there. Chris Jericho's hype video. This was the greatest thing I've seen ever in wrestling. The very extra promo video we teased Cody about, Jericho did his own, and it was fucking hysterical. You had Sammy Guevara playing the role of Brandy, multiple cutaways to a silent Jake Hager. Patricia Bobsky, a shout out to Clint Bobsky, I'm sure, who was billed as Chris's aunt's friends from church. Santana and Ortiz,
the fucking
Virgil, wrestling legend Virgil, who referenced the Olive Garden breadsticks, who was billed as Soul Train Jones.
And I'm so glad he did the fucking bathtub, because when I saw the fucking minute I saw Cody in the goddamn sensory deprivation chamber, I was like, Jesus.
He's 48 years old. He's the youngest AEW champion of all time. I fucking died. Peter's like, he had a great video. I'm like, I'm sure it was great, but then I texted him like, this is the best thing I've ever seen in wrestling. Jericho's a funny guy, and credit where credit's due. Everyone, even Jake Hager, played their parts to perfection, and I loved it. This was the best thing on the show.
Show them how it's done, Jericho. Hold up this fucking, be a pillar in this.
Last true heel in AEW. Emi Sakura and Jamie Hayter, perhaps the 2 least matching wrestlers in the world, or a tag team. They defeated Shanna and Riho. Riho is, what was the girl last week? Shima?
I thought it was Shanna.
No.
She's
Who
back.
wrestled Shanna?
Oh.
Shida? Something like that?
Let's look it up. All right, so no.
Anyway, that girl is the best women's wrestler I think AEW has, and why she's not champion, I don't understand. But of all the Joshis they've trotted out, I think Riho is maybe the worst.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing really about her that excites me, and she's so, I don't want to say unbelievable, but like she lacks legitimacy at her size.
Yeah,
Um,
that's fair. Where is it? SCU, Hangman Page. It was Hikaru Shida.
Ishida, yeah, I knew it was some other but she was probably the best woman I've seen them have. Shayna's pretty good too. Um, they gave this match a lot of time,
Yup.
way too much time. It was pretty good. I thought Emi Sakura looked much better than the last time I saw her out, where she just seemed like the most random filler on a fucking tag team.
Mm-hmm.
But here she looked better. She had a chance to showcase. Jamie Hayter is around, I guess. She's green. I don't know how long she's been doing this, but she looks very green. And
Yep.
yeah, this was fine, but it went too long. And then we had a Brandy Rhodes Awesome Kong hype video that just only adds confusion to this whole Brandy Rhodes situation. I don't know who the fuck she's talking to. Is she talking to me? Because I never said anything about her other than I don't know what the fuck she's doing in this company.
What is her like her relationship with Awesome Kong? Because she's just like, here, cut away, boom.
I mean, they've
No,
shown them together before. I think at Fighter Fest they were out there together, and then Aja Kong stared down Awesome Kong. But Awesome Kong is well past her prime. Sure, her back is like all kinds of fucked up. She can't like wrestle a full time schedule. She just physically cannot take it. Um, so I don't know what the end game here is. I don't know
yeah.
what I don't know. Brandy Rhodes. She said she was underestimated and dismissed her whole career, no matter how hard she's worked. I'm like, bitch, you barely wrestle, bitch.
Come on in the ring.
How can I underestimate and dismiss you if you've had like 2 matches in AEW and I don't even know? I can't remember a single Eden Styles match in WWE.
Yeah. I also set up a feud. Someone please set up a feud,
Direct
especially in the
this
women's
message at
division,
someone. Like,
because can I say this women's match? Also, the entire women's tag team thing just is out of nowhere. I'm just like, who's gonna be on the thing? It's like a weird ass mixed match challenge where they just throw people onto a tag team,
yeah,
and they have women's tag matches every week. So I just
that's
say, make a fucking women's tag team. Come on, it's not like it's not going to be a detriment to anything. You obviously have a willingness to take tag team talent and put them in singles matches. Make a women's tag team, and then if you want to put them in a singles match, put them in a singles match.
that's a good point you made about building a feud because Emi Sakura is apparently going to wrestle Riho on Saturday for the championship, despite appearing on just this one episode of Dynamite.
Exactly.
It just a lot of their booking is pretty good and follows logical consistency. Other times it's just scattershot. It feels like when they lay out the show and they write the show, they spend a lot of time on everything involving the elite. And then everything else is kind of just thrown together. I don't know if that's a reflection on where their priorities are, but it just seems like if it's not the top tag team program or a program involving someone in the elite or inner circle, I guess, but they're feuding with the elite, so by proxy, the elite,
Are there?
it just doesn't get any sort of meaningful attention.
Yeah, it doesn't ping. That's why a lot of these matches, I feel like when I watch them, they just sort of like. And up next, it's these guys.
Which is fine. You can just have matches, but have the match, either build up the story of the individual, like oh, Sean Spears is on a roll. He's won 4 straight. Maybe he's looking to put himself in the title picture or have some sort of power ranking system where the matches mean
Mhm.
something. Say Brandon Cutler's number 10 and Sean Spears is number 8, and if Brandon Cutler can knock off Sean Spears, he'll move up in the rankings.
Yeah.
Just
Do we have a general sense of who is high, mid, low card in this?
well, everyone in the
Honestly,
elite is at the top of the card.
of
Ditto the inner
course.
circle on the other side. I would say Moxley is borderline main eventer. Pac is high mid card. On the tag team side, Lucha Bros and SCU are in the Bucks or main event level, and then everyone else is a step down from that. And
Okay.
yeah, like I couldn't even suss out the women's division, but
No one is. I really don't feel like anyone has established themselves as a person to beat. As we just looking over the mirror to fucking Shayna Baszler, who, as annoying as that can get sometimes, her undefeated streak really makes it easy to be like, she's the one. She's the one who's gonna beat people all the time.
yeah, they did the same thing with Asuka. There was no question who was the top of the division when Asuka was champion.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're new. They're learning on the job. I will give them patience and leeway to a point. I would say I will give them 3 pay-per-views. And if Dynamite is still in the state that it is in following these 3 pay-per-views, if they haven't done a better job of establishing the top and bottom of the card in baby faces and heels and just simmered down a bit with all the random matches or given a way to have these matches mean something, then I'm going to start to really turn on the show and be critical of it and not give them the break of, oh, well, they're new and they're learning.
Right.
You
Right.
got to make the improvement at some point. I need to see, I'm like a teacher and you're failing my class, but if I see improvement by midterms, I'll cut you some slack and
Yeah.
maybe get you passing here.
But as we go on here,
Yeah, Sean Spears squash Brandon Cutler. Not much to say about that. Joey Janela ran out to make the save for Cutler, so it looks like Janela versus Spears is going to be something going forward. So, in fairness, they did set something up out of this match. It had a
yes,
purpose. Kenny
good.
Omega versus John Moxley hype video. They replayed Moxley's promo from last week. Oh, what do you know? Someone in Dynamite is listening to this show because we said on the show prior to last week that, hey, why hasn't John Moxley been given a promo segment yet? And they gave John Moxley a promo segment, and lo and behold, it was one of the better things on either show. Uh,
Who'd have thunk?
they interjected Omega's rebuttal to the promo, saying that, oh, what are you upset? It's a hardcore match. You're going to chain wrestle me, John? And it's like, well, yeah, probably. Did you see him in the G1? He's perfectly capable of doing that.
Yup.
Um, yeah, and then he thanked him for putting his back against the wall because that's where he does his best work. And Moxley said he's looking for people to bring out the worst in him, not the best in him. They used footage from Moxley in the Indies, including his CZW days, going through tables, fighting with barbed wire, etc., etc. And that led tightly into the main event of Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara versus Kenny Omega and Hangman Page. Guevara worked most of this match. Chris Jericho would tag in as an opportunist, and Guevara would take most of the heat. Eventually, this ended when Hangman Page, off of a Jake Hager interference spot, ate the Judas effect, and Pac ran down to distract, and then that allowed Jake Hager to interfere, and then the Judas effect scored the win for Jericho and Guevara. And then everyone ran out. Omega ran out, and Cody ran out, and Moxley ran out, and the Bucks ran out, and then fucking LAX ran out, or they're what, the Proud and Powerful now.
Yes.
Santana and Ortiz ran out,
Uh,
and fucking it just turned into a huge schmoz. everyone was fighting everyone. Last thing that happened is Nick Jackson hit a big dive onto a pile of dudes, and they ran off. They went off the air with chaos and calamity, and that's how they lead into Full Gear. The thing about this that I liked the most, MJF was out there too. Forgot to mention him. Thing about this that I liked the most was Omega hit a V-trigger and Moxley hit a paradigm shift on Santana and Ortiz, and then they just started hockey fighting each other. Like, well, now that that's out of the way, let's resume kicking each other's ass.
That was great.
Yeah.
I would have enjoyed a more like focused smoz or something coming out right at the end and being like, look at this. This is the match we're really pushing here.
It should have been between Cody and Jericho, because that's the main event. It should have been more focused between them. You can have Cody stand tall because he's going to lose on Saturday probably. And then, it should have ended when he gave Jericho the crossroads, and then you just fade to black. You're like, oh, Cody has momentum going into Full Gear on Saturday. And then that's the end of the show. You have Full Gear. He loses, and then you do Fallout following week.
Easy please.
But instead, you had to try to build every match at the same time.
Exactly. And that's how it ended.
Yeah, so that was Dynamite. We move on to NXT, which was a much better show than last week and a noticeably better show than Dynamite this week.
Yes.
It opened with a video pack. Mauro Ranallo informing us he had breaking news with video package, and the OC, AJ Styles and the Good Brothers were in Full Sail, beating up the Undisputed Era. They threw Kyle O'Reilly on the side of the truck, and there was a blood splatter, which looked like a ketchup packet got smushed. He was eating a burger when the attack happened.
Poof! Spit out my ketchup. It's fantastic.
It looked like a fucking NWO angle from 1996.
And in that way, I love it.
Yeah, they showed up. They crashed NXT. They said they were invading. Styles cut a great heel promo, and the crowd ate it up. And he's like, he threw an open challenge, and out came Tommaso Ciampa. And he's like, oh, apparently you're the only one with balls big enough to come out here and say anything to us. And out came Keith Lee and Matt Riddle. Keith Lee gesturing toward his balls. Or not Keith Lee, Matt Riddle gesturing to his
Matt Riddle's prodigious package.
Yes, with his skin tight trunks. And they set up a 6-man for the main event, which meant that we would have an unshackled OC in the NXT confines, which I was very excited about.
Yes, I like to think. I always like to think that because I'm such a fucking mark for NXT. I always think whenever main roster comes down, they're like, "Yo, you want to go to NXT? I heard it's fucking banging down there."
I mean, it is too. Like every main roster talent, Cesaro is the greatest example. Every time Cesaro has a match under the NXT umbrella, it is a blow away 4 or 5-star classic, and then he has to wrestle like 3-star dud or 3-star or 2-star dud on the main roster over and over and over against talented dudes. Like they could have a good match with the people they have on the main roster, and they do every now and then. It's just they're not allowed to have the kind of match that I'm sure they want to have. But in NXT, they unshackle them. It's like, go out there, boy. Have yourself a ball. And they look around, uncertain and confused, and then they just do what the instinct kicks in, and they wrestle the best match they have in months.
Oh, I want to play like the... It's like they wake up in the ring and it's playing like the spring theme. You know, the one with the flute.
Yeah.
All that.
Pete Dunne had the rematch against Damian Priest, and it's over. Damian Priest's undefeated streak has ended at the hands of Pete Dunne. Well, the hands is an apt term to use because Pete Dunne won with my favorite finish. The bend his fingers.
although I like the dramatic irony in this, or the poetic justice, however you want to slice it, that he's the archer, so his fingers are important.
Yes. I will also give the move credit where he is like pretty much turned it into a cross arm breaker that he also bends the fingers on, which is a little less goofy
Mhm.
looking.
All I want is Danny Birch. I want the promo where Danny Birch he throws up the two, and then fucking Pete Dunne just runs up behind him and yanks him.
uh, so this match was really good. All joking aside, Damian Priest is what I think they envisioned Baron Corbin would be. Uh,
Yes.
and he's just so fucking gangly. I love it. Every time he does any move, I just smile like, ah.
He's a big scarecrow man.
Go get him, Daddy Long Legs.
Oh, Pete, fucking Damian Priest doing a spider walk onto the into the ring, like an exorcist walk.
the old Bray Wyatt crab walk thing.
Yes,
Uh, that would need a gimmick change, but yeah.
Bray Wyatt's champion now.
Uh, the Fiend
Pull
is
that
the
trigger.
champion.
The
Yeah,
Fiend, yes.
yeah. They made the mistake. They rectified the mistake rather of putting the title on him.
Just fucking do it. Yep.
Might as well. It's not like the belt means anything. It's the fucking tomato title.
Uh,
Yeah, they went back and forth and hit a bunch of impact moves. Momentum swung back and forth and back and forth, and then in the end, Damian Priest got on a huge roll, and then Dunn just grabbed his finger and put him in the armbar finger rig thing, and Priest tapped out. It's a great match. Killian Dane ran in to attack Dunn after the match. Damian Priest is like, hey, dude, what the fuck? And then he put the boots to Dunn, and then Killian Dane beat up Damian Priest. And I guess we are officially getting the Dunn Dane program, which is going to be really fun to keep track of who's who, Dunn and Dane. Very
who
similar
did undo
sounding.
that?
Who done did Dane this?
Yes.
Um,
Uh, there's after this, there's a little promo of Dakota Kai because they haven't all through this the women's war games they have not picked their fourth member.
Yes, they were drafting their teams, and they both had their fourth slot open. And Dakota Kai was scheduled to wrestle Shayna Baszler, and she was going to prove to Rhea Ripley that she belonged on the War Games team. She also threatened to kick Shayna Baszler's face off in the match. They acknowledged their history together, and when they got to the match, which was very good, it reminded me, or rather, it assured me that I was not crazy to think that they could have built to a Dakota Kai Shayna Baszler championship match. Because
Could have gotten there.
this match was definitely takeover quality in many ways. And if they had more time, well, I don't know if I can say that definitively, but likely if they had more time, they could have put on a takeover quality match.
Yes.
Tanara Conti beat Santana Garrett real quick. I believe
Always good to get see Tainara get a win.
Yeah, I think she was trying to like prove that she could be on the War Games team. I think that was the story here.
Okay.
It was a short match, but it felt long.
Yeah. I guess I don't remember Santana Garrett very well. She's beloved in the Indies, and she was on the Mae Young Classic, but now she's back on TV.
Yes, I don't remember her that much either, but the name is certainly familiar. People speak highly of her abilities, and perhaps one day we'll see that. Then we have the aforementioned match between Shayna Baszler and Dakota Kai. This match was definitely Dakota Kai's best singles match in NXT, and it's not even close. I don't know how much of that is. I don't think Baszler is at the point where she can carry anyone, so they're both just much improved from where they started from. Baszler in particular is like night and day from where she was a year or two ago.
I remember those days. I remember when she needed more move variety. She's there now.
Since added moves, and I guess I was correct in my diagnosis that was one of the major things missing from her game, and lo and behold, she's now one of the hottest women wrestlers in the company, and people are fucking shitting their pants to see that match between her and Becky Lynch. And oh, by the way, Bailey's in that match too.
Yeah. Oh God.
She's got to
Fucking.
win. Bailey has to win that match to maintain any sort of relevance.
Yeah. I see her now. I don't know. I think the design and the way she looks right now. In addition to like just the fucking heel Bailey.
It's a
I don't
hard thing
know.
to wrap your mind around as an NXT fan. It really is. Uh,
Yeah.
but for what it's worth, I think she's doing a fine job with it. The one critique of the new look that I would have, first off, the music is super generic. Second off, I
Yes.
think she cut her hair a little too short, and it just
Right.
doesn't
This is
complement
very
her face very well.
yes. I will agree there for sure. Also, the promo picture they took of her is very unflattering.
Yeah, she's a very nice looking lady, but she has some bad angles, and they always seem to find her bad angles, and I feel so bad for her. She's very pretty, just
Yes,
not
because
from
it
every
looks
angle.
like, to be perfectly blunt, the way the fucking photos came out, it's like, Becky Lynch, great. Fucking Shayna Baszler, thuggish, intense, sure. Bailey she looks like a witch. She looks like a 45-year-old witch.
Yeah, she looks like she's demanding to speak to your manager, and that's not. She's better than that.
You're better than that, Bailey.
uh,
Oh,
but yeah, Kai showed fire from the start, and she hit a bunch of moves. She got a long shine spot. Baszler bumped around for a really good, and then she took a quick break, got back in, and caught her leg, and then posted her, and then Baszler worked over her knee for a long time. Kai made a comeback. They traded strikes. Um, and then eventually she got the Kirifuda clutch in. Kai rolled over for a pinning attempt. Shayna kicked out. Kai went to go off the ropes, but as she was running towards the rope, she was snagged, and yet another Kirifuda clutch. She crawled and sprawled, hoping to get to the bottom rope, but alas, her other arm was hooked by Shayna Baszler, and she was forced to tap out in what was a very, I would call it a star-making performance for Dakota Kai. She was already over, but I think I certainly now view her more as a main event level talent in that women's division. I think
yes.
that's true of many.
Which, uh, yes, absolutely. And it sort of sucks that led into
Yes, it makes
what
the
happened.
decision that they made all the more perplexing. However, there is still television time remaining before
Yes.
War Games, so perhaps an angle will be
There's
shot to correct this situation.
there's also the rumor mill. There's also the theory that a lot of people have is that this will be a double agent sort of spot or thing here where she defects to Shayna's team uh, and
Pulls
either betrays them or does not
the
or
old
whichever.
Kurt Angle at the Alliance versus WWF Survivor Series match, which was the spot that should have gone to Chris Jericho, because honestly, that would have made a lot more sense than Kurt Angle being on Team WCW, a company which he had never wrestled for.
Yeah.
But the invasion angle is a whole nother can of worms that maybe we'll detail in a retro pay-per-view slot. I think we could watch the invasion pay-per-view and the subsequent Survivor Series match that came out of it.
Maybe.
After the match, Shafir and Duke ran in to put the beat down on Kai. Tegan Nox, Candice LeRae came out to, and Rhea Ripley came out to even the odds, but so did Io Shirai and Bianca Belair. And just everyone got nuts. But then Mia Yim came out to be the advantage for the baby faces, and she cleaned house with kendo stick, and then In the back, they were talking, and after what she had seen, Rhea Ripley had awarded the last spot to Mia Yim.
Yeah.
So leaving Dakota Kai rather dejected after her excellent match. So we'll see where
And
that leads.
leaving Tegan Knox not caring at all.
She didn't seem too broken up that her best friend was left off the team. She seemed all too happy that Mia Yim was there.
Same sort of feeling on when they were both on SmackDown, because Tegan Knox came on with Rhea Ripley.
Yeah, that
for some
they're
reason.
like so buddy now, and I'm just like, no. Rhea
This is
Ripley
not the new
spent 6 months fucking mercilessly mocking her horrific injury. They should not be buddy. Although one thing I want to say about the SmackDown invasion of from NXT is that Tommaso Ciampa understands his character perfectly. He was not chummy with Adam Cole. He stood as far away in the ring as he could and stared at the title the entire time because Tommaso Ciampa understands pro wrestling.
He's I think it was a good decision to make him like he's almost the face of NXT now. Like Adam Cole's the champ and he's the headliner, but like Tommaso Ciampa is the face and the heart of it. He's the black heart of NXT.
Yeah, especially now since Johnny Gargano has been kind of
poof.
Yeah, he just hasn't been on much. I wonder if he's nursing some injuries or something like that. But
Johnny Vacant.
Johnny Vacant. Video package of the NXT Invasions. Ciampa cut a promo on the OC hyping the main event. And then they had an Isaiah Swerve Scott vignette. Then Angel Garza wrestled Tony Nese in a number 1 contenders match for the now NXT Cruiserweight Championship.
Yes.
This was a fine match. The thing I remember most about it is Tony Nese interrupting the wardrobe malfunction spot and then throwing the pants back at him. They
powerbombed a pair of pants.
He did powerbomb a pair of pants, and that was actually his downfall because Garza get a wing clipper to score the pinfall, and then Leo Rush came out to meet Garza on the stage. He offered a handshake, told Garza he was looking forward to the match. Garza instead slapped Rush across the face and then sauntered off. We had the Rhea Ripley's team picking. And Dijakovic beat Swerve Scott in what was just a fantastic match. Like, it's just one of those things, like, when AEW, and this is, I will contend this is likely some form of bias, maybe just by the fact that we've been watching NXT for a lot longer and we're more invested into the characters than we are in AEW, but that it's on the onus is on AEW to get us to care about the characters. But this match, it's just one of those random matches they throw out there. It's like, oh yeah, Dijakovic, Swerve Scott, let's put him in there, and then it just fucking tears the house down. This match was fucking great.
It was fantastic. They just come and be like, hi everyone, this is a match we've been working on for a while. It was a personal project, and we wanted to show it for you here today. Go!
Yeah, they were countering everything. Swerve went for a roll flow, went for a roll and then into an attempted flatliner. But then Dijakovic just muscled it up, hit a Feast Your Eyes for the win. It was chef's kiss. Beautiful. They announced that next week Io Shirai and Mia Yim will have a ladder match to determine who gets the advantage in the women's war game. So Io Shirai would be winning this match. They could do an injury angle because it's a ladder match and they're dangerous. So Mia Yim could get hurt, leaving the door open for Dakota Kai to come in valiantly, or they could go into the pay-per-view and someone could jump Mia Yim from behind, and then Dakota Kai has to fill in on short notice and heroically fights valiantly, etc. So there's a lot of ways you can get Dakota Kai in there, and I really feel that she should be in this match.
Especially if they drew so much attention to her not being in this match.
Yes, that's true. So yeah, I could see the double agent thing. I can't really see Dakota Kai turning heel this soon, and for like
Especially right after her fucking fight against Shayna, match against Shayna.
her comeback, like it just wouldn't make sense. I don't think. But anyway, then we have the main event: the OC versus Team NXT, and you could just see it in their eyes. Like everyone in the OC was just so happy to get to wrestle, and just wrestle they did. This was the best they've looked in months. Like this is the best Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows have looked in their WWE run. And AJ Styles looked better than he has in months. Everyone was so happy. And they traded moves, and it just broke down into insane flurry of offense. It was a great 6-man main event. You could have. I love me a good 6-man main event. You can have 6-man main events until the end of time, and as long as they're good, I'll be happy.
Just keep throwing them on there.
Like the Shield. Yeah. That was the whole reason I love the Shield so much. Is they just shat out great 6-mans every week on Raw for like 3 years.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. And just I got a taste of what the OC lives through. Because I don't watch, as you know, I don't watch main roster TV. Or I guess it's all main roster, so I don't watch the big boys TV. But I did to watch the SmackDown invasion. And when I saw the fucking... It was good. But when I saw the 17-minute like opening monologue promo, I was like, oh, yeah. Oh, right. Yeah. One of the Raws recently had like a literal fucking 25-minute promo.
That is super common for Raw to open with a 20+ minute promo. The Reign of Terror, Triple H's run on top on Raw, was notorious for opening every week with a 20+ minute Evolution promo. Just going on and on and on and on.
It's not the fucking monologue here, boys.
Yeah. Yeah, they just threw out all kinds of moves. It all broke down at the end. Anderson, Gallows, Matt Riddle comes in and explodes with one of the best hot tags I've seen in a hot minute. And Anderson and Gallows get the advantage. They go for the Magic Killer on Keith Lee. But Ciampa made the save. A series of high spots built to Styles, getting a near fall on Riddle. He picks up Ciampa for the Styles. This is a bit later. He picks up Ciampa for the Styles Clash, and Adam Cole comes out of nowhere to fucking super kick AJ Styles and it makes sense. Like NXT did this so much better than they did on Raw or SmackDown, where they're just like all buddy because they're on NXT. Adam Cole runs in because he wants revenge on AJ Styles for beating him and his buddies down earlier in the night. He then shows that he didn't save Tommaso Ciampa by immediately giving him a last shot. Then Finn Balor runs out and hits... who did he give? He gave Riddle the 1916 DDT on the floor, and he made the finger guns at AJ Styles, who threw up a too sweet in response, and then it just... It all fucking... It worked. Everything worked. Everything made sense from a character's perspective. And they built the brand warfare without sacrificing the feuds for War Games, and it just that's how you do it.
You know when you see a cute animal that's so cute you want to fucking eat it? This is good booking. It's so good. It makes me want to fucking just scream. Yeah. I just want to scream at them and be like, guys,
you do it so good. Yeah, like just. This was a fantastic episode of NXT, and it had a lot more eyes on it, and I can see the audience trending up from here a little bit more. I think next week, you know what, I will be bold. I'm going to predict next week NXT wins for the first time. I'm going to go 870,000 to 840,000 in favor of NXT.
Keep an eye out for that.
You heard it here first, folks. Well, that's going to wrap it up for us. We got business we got to attend to for our other shows, which you can find out all about by visiting saturnstuds.com. If you listen to this show somehow and don't listen to our podcast or watch our streams, please do that. Saturn Studs Podcast is available on a variety of podcasting platforms, including Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, and all your third-party podcasting apps, such as Stitcher and TuneIn Radio. This show is available on YouTube when it goes up, which is usually the night we record it. Typically a Thursday or Friday with special Tuesday episodes. There will probably be a Tuesday episode covering Full Gear next week. So
yeah,
that's a double duty week for us. Fun times. Have to watch Full Gear. Have to find time to watch Full Gear.
It won't be 5 hours this time.
Hopefully not. If it is, I will skip some matches because I ain't got time for that. Yeah, but we'll be back next week with Full Gear, and we'll see how my prediction holds up and how NXT continues to build towards both War Games and Survivor Series. Until then, be well, stay safe, and grapple like it's 1995.
Peace.